Hello, my name is JB. I live in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Today I'm going to tell you about a trip that I took recently. So last weekend I went to Chicago, which is like a 5 hour trip from here. I took a Greyhound bus, and then when I got to Milwaukee, I took the train, the Hiawatha, and that goes from Milwaukee to Chicago. And I took that on Saturday morning. Got there, I don't know what it was, like 9:45 or something in the morning. And then I went to a area called Berwyn, which is in Chicago, um, and I met my friend who I used to work with in Dodge City, Kansas, back in 2009, 2014. We're still friends. We talk all the time. He had spent a lot of his life in Chicago, and his family is still there. A lot of it, and so he was there to see his son, see his daughters, and to see his grandkids and his brothers and sisters and his cousins and everybody else. And I call him El Chapo because he's Mexican and he's short. Uh, Chapo comes from this word chaparrito, which means shorty, and it's also the nickname for an infamous criminal. But I went to see him, and it was great because I hadn't seen him in 10 years. Last time I saw him was 2014 in the summer, and so we hung out at his house for a few minutes, and then we went out to eat at a Mexican restaurant. And he said this is his favorite spot, the one he goes to all the time, and it was good. So uh, when I go to a restaurant, normally I buy whatever the most affordable thing is, right? And this time I was going to get like a sandwich, it was like $7. He's like, no, you can't get that. I was like, why not? What's the problem? I'll just get some tacos if I can't get that. He said, no, you can't get that either. I said, well, what can I get? What are you talking about? He's like, no, you're going to have this. It's like a $25, $26 plate, with steak and rice and beans and a lot of other stuff. But I'm like, that's $26. It's a lot of money. He's like, it doesn't matter. And I'm like, yeah, it does matter because I'm paying for it. He's like, no, you're not paying for it. I'm not going to let you pay for it. And so he made me get that, right? And it was great. I ate it. It was a good meal. And I still try to pay for it because I don't want other people buying my food. But he paid for it. And yeah. And I think he and his son, they got whatever it was they wanted, and they liked that. I think my friend Chapo, he got the same thing I got. But it was a good meal. So we paid, we left. And then, like, we were running all over the city because my friend Chapo's son, he was getting ready for his daughter's quinceañera, which is like the big party that 15-year-old girls get on their 15th birthday. And it's not like parties that we have in the United States, or at least that I had when I was a kid. Because when I was a kid, usually I got like $5, a piece of cake, they sang happy birthday, and that was it. And maybe if I needed clothes, which I usually did, so we didn't have clothes very often, but if I needed clothes or I needed something else, I might have gotten that with it. Every once in a while, I got something that I wanted that I didn't really need, but it was never a big deal. I think the only time that I had a party with like all the friends over and everything was when I was really small, too small to really enjoy it or remember it. But that's how that worked. And my brother and sister, I think, had a few parties where they had friends over. Uh, Maybe one time, actually one time, I think I was maybe 9. Uh, I had a birthday party at a bowling alley, and I got to bring some friends, and that was cool, I guess. And but nothing like these Mexican quinceañeras. So what they did is they rented out this huge hall that had a dance floor. It was called the Eagles Club. It's like a fraternal organization, and They had all their family and friends over there. I don't know how many people there were, probably more than 100. And they had food for everybody. Um, it was a whole deal. There was a DJ, there was photographer, there was open bar. Well, actually not open bar, but there was a bar. Um, you could, if you wanted to drink, you could buy some. And then later on, they bought a lot. My friend did, and his son. And yeah, it was a good time. And I thought, I mean, they put a lot of thought into how everything that was going to happen. So there was like for the girl that was turning 15. Um, her name was Ariana. Uh, she, was all dressed up, and she had her hair and her makeup and all that done, and um, it was her day. Everything was about her, and they had like a first dance for her with her dad, and then my friend had a dance with her because he was the grandfather. There was a girl who, my friend's daughter, uh, which was the girl's aunt, gave her some jewelry, like during this little ceremony they had um, that everybody was watching. There was, they called it the last bear, where they gave her a little uh, teddy bear. It was supposed to be like the last one that a little girl gets. And then the girl, Ariana, she gave like a speech. And she talked about her life and her family and her parents and her grandfather and everyone else that was important to her, and how they helped her become the young lady that she is. And it was actually a really good speech. I speak all the time, and I have been invited to speak in a lot of places, and speaking is not easy. It should be, but it's not, because there's a lot of people watching, and you have to remember a lot of things, and you have to make sure that what you're going to say means something to the other people that are listening. But this girl somehow knew how to do this, and she did an amazing job, and I told her that. And I think that says a lot about her, that she was able to do that, because a lot of people, no matter what their age is, just can't speak publicly um, because it makes them nervous, or they just don't want to share anything, or they're not sure how what they're gonna say is gonna land on the people who are listening. But she was able to do it, and but anyway, there was like a lot of dancing. There was a lot of drinking. There was a lot of everybody was talking, and I got to meet all my friends' family and stuff. And he was telling them about me, and I was telling them about him. And I got to meet my friend's daughter, the one that gave the jewelry to the girl Ariana, and told her what it was like to work with her dad, and what other people thought about her dad, and because like she lives in Chicago and he lived in Dodge City, Kansas, still lives there for I don't know how many years now, and so she hasn't really known him during that time, other than through like Facebook or whatever you call this, video messenger or whatever. So I got to tell her about her dad, and she really appreciated that, because she said, I was going to ask you, but I just didn't know how. And but I'm glad I got to tell her, because her dad's a good guy, and I wish that people would tell me about my dad, or my uncle who died, or my grandfather, but they don't do that. People just don't do that, and that I wish they would, because it would help me know those people better. Even though they're my family and I should have known them really well, I just didn't get the chance because I'm not around them enough. And but it was a great time. Since I was just there as a friend and I wasn't a family member, and this party wasn't really for me, even though I was invited, I just kind of took it on myself to help out wherever I could. So like, I took the trash out. I cleaned up cake when somebody dropped cake on the floor. I the fuck is this? I put up the chairs at the end of the night. I helped carry things, you know, from the car and then back to the car. Just did a lot of other things like that because I wanted to be helpful, you know, and I wanted my friend and his son and his granddaughter should have a good day, and they did, and that was great, and I'm glad they did. But I should have not stayed out as late as I did because I stayed until I think 12 o'clock that night, Saturday night, and I hadn't slept for like 2 days before that, so I was up a long time. And then I went to this hostel that I was staying at in Chicago, and a hostel is like a place where they have dormitory type rooms where there's like it's not like a hotel or a motel where you just stay in the room by yourself. You stay with other people. They have bunk beds. But I stayed there. It was like $32, which was great. I slept and I overslept. I was supposed to get on my train on Sunday morning at like 9. I slept until 9:22. So that's a problem because you can't get from the hostel to the train in 3 minutes. And so I didn't make the train, and I had to find another way to get home. And what I did was just buy a bus ticket. So I took the Greyhound instead of the Amtrak, and I got back home Sunday afternoon, and it was good. But yeah, it was a quick trip to Chicago. I've been there many times, but it was a good trip because I got to see my friend. A lot of times when I travel, I don't see anybody that I know. I just go to a random city and walk around and take pictures and eat food and then leave. That's it. But this time I got to see somebody that is my friend. So that was good. And well, thanks for listening. Have a good day.